Hello everyone, how are you? It's Sharon here from I Restore Stuff and just coming to you live for our 5 days of live. I'm just going to refresh my page over here to just share this live with my group. So I have a Facebook group called I Restore Stuff. You can too. And I love to share with them when I go live. Maybe you're joining me for the first time and you have never joined me on a live before. I also am an ambassador for Essential Stencils, so you may have even joined me from Essential Stencils page. But we're just going to, whoops. Let's see if I can just get this started. How are you all today? Let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to know. Thank you guys. And I'll see if I can see comments both on my phone and down here on my laptop. So if you see me looking down, I'm just kind of trying to see your comments as best I can. I've got a sunlight coming through. It's a beautiful day outside here in sunny Queensland. I'm south of Brisbane, our capital city, the capital state capital city. And we're going to be doing 5 days of live starting today. So today it's Monday, so wherever you are in the world, let me know. Is it Sunday there? Is it nighttime? Let me know where you are, where you're tuning in from. If the kids are home today, if they're watching too, they can join in with these 5 things that you can upcycle in your home. So you might be finding yourself in isolation, as most of us are in the world today, and needing something to do. So I thought I'd bring you some fun things that you can find in your own home that we can upcycle. So just jump on and tell me where you're coming from. Yes, Cheryl. Cheryl says it's a sunny evening in Iowa. Awesome. Just going to click this on my computer so I can see. Sunday night, 7 p.m. in Wisconsin, says Lisa. I've got a fair few USA people here and following me on my Facebook page. So let me know if you're from Australia and it's morning for you. So I'm looking forward to showing you these things. So let me get started by just sharing with you. If you go to the event page, and I've put that link in the description of the live, it's an event post, so on my page here, you'll see a little tab that says events. And one of the events is this, what we're doing today, 5 days of live. So if you go to that event and click the going button, hi Dawn, thanks for joining. Click the going button on the event link, which is in the description of this live, to show you what it'll do, it'll remind you every time we're about to go live and say, hey, you want to join this event? And hopefully people can know to just go onto my page, look for the live, and here I will be. So the first project we'll be working on, I've got to may have to shift my things. The sunlight's streaming in the window and kind of making lots of weird reflections on the work here. But if you've just joined me, we're going to be doing 5 days of lives. Hi, Christine. Thanks for jumping on. 5 days of live showing you 5 things you can upcycle in your home. And the first project we're going to work on is picture frames. So there's an example of a frame you might have in your house. Some of these wood frames that you may want to find some furniture paint that you can paint on them. And then you can make something like this. So this is an example, and I've added the fresco, which is a product that I stock here in Australia. And hi Cheryl, yes, she can't wait to see everything this week. Yeah, it's going to be lots of fun. And I hope you can join me. Grab a picture frame and you can do it while I'm doing the project if you like. Otherwise, you can just watch and gather your things together and do it again later. And if you're catching the replay, you can do it anytime. So here's an example of a frame, and I'll show you that up close. That's something I did with a textured medium that you can actually create a lovely fresco texture using this technique, and I've got all the recipe in that there. If you go to my blog, my website, irestorestuff.com, and you type in the search bar fresco, you'll find a whole bunch of projects that I did using that. So that's a fun one for you to try. You can also use some of the metallics, the gorgeous metallic paints that are around these days. I use Fusion Mineral Paint, so this is their copper, and you can make chalkboards with those. This is actually Miss Mustard Seed's milk paint, and I've painted that using the milk paint, which comes in powdered form. You mix it with water. It's lots of fun too. If you are in Australia, you can get all of those things from my website, Australia-wide shipping, and free shipping for orders over $150. So that's a great idea for isolation. People are looking for their paint. Hi from Idaho, says Barb. That's awesome. Thank you, Barb, for joining us. Thank you, Lawanda. That's awesome. I'm so glad you guys... Yes, chalkboards are a great idea, especially if you've got kids at home during this time. They can have a lot of fun drawing on the chalkboard, writing down recipes, writing down a menu for dinner or something like that. Lots of different fun ideas. So today I'm just going to be showing you how to do a simple paint a picture frame. And you can, if you know someone who's not even done a lot of DIY before and they just want a really simple project, you can share this video with them. That's what I was meant to do, is just hit that little share button. So you can do that too at the same time. It'll actually just jump you right back here in the live. You won't miss a thing. I'm going to share it to my group, which is called I Restore Stuff You Can Too. So if you ever want to join in that group, you're quite welcome to hit the join button for I Restore Stuff You Can Too. And you'll find a whole bunch of people asking DIY furniture painting related questions, posting their pictures of furniture that they've upcycled, giving you lots of inspiration. So that's the aim of that group. And of course you can find a lot of tutorials right here on my Facebook page in the video section. And you can also find tutorials on my YouTube channel. I do a lot of tutorials there too. So you can search the channel itself. I Restore Stuff is where I am on Instagram, Pinterest, all of the places, so you can find me there. Cheryl has tons of picture frames at home. Yeah, I know it's one of the most popular things that we've got. All right, so get started on our picture frame. This one it's got glass. There was another one I showed you before that didn't have glass. You can either opt to take the glass out and paint the insides with like a flat matte paint, which will create a chalkboard, which is what I've done using Fusion Mineral Paint, which is a nice matte finish. Or you can leave the glass in and do something else inside the frame. So this one just had tulips. I got it from an op shop, a thrift store, just for a couple of dollars. So but often you'll find these lying around your house. So this is a great idea. So the first thing you want to do, instead of just trying to tape off that glass, let's remove the frame. So let me just point you down here and see, I've just got every trusty tool that I could find from my workshop or from the garage to try and open this one, because different picture frames will have different things on the back to hold them in. This one has these little staple kind of looking things that lean over the frame, and all I want to do is just get a screwdriver. You could use a staple remover, you could use some pliers, or I did bring these pincers just to try and see if I needed them. But what you want to do is just get your screwdriver and lift it really. Then you don't have to try and hammer it back in. If you can lift it and remove the frame that way, then you'll save yourself trying to find exactly where those holes are and hammering them back in. It's a little bit more tricky to do it that way. So just trying to move it as close as I can against the edge. Whoops, if you've just joined me, I've started our 5 days of lives this week. I'll be going live each day to show you 5 things that you can use from around the house to upcycle. So see, I've done that there, and the picture itself, the glass and all the board, the backing board, you can remove that easily. So now let me see, some frames come with the picture that's actually stuck to the board, and yep, I have one of those. So I can't actually remove that picture there, but what I can do is either print something out on there that I like and cut it to the size of the frame. You could do, there's some fun ideas with using old book pages, antique book pages, an old map, and you could paint something or stencil something on the map. I might do one of those fun ideas for another live project. That would be fun. Or you could just paint over that, because it has a very flat, smooth surface. There's no raised painted bits on this. You could colour that all black, which I might do that, is colour that and make a chalkboard out of it. And you can use the glass for something else, or you can just get rid of it. So there we have our frame. It does have the hanging piece at the back, but we don't have to worry about that because we do still want to keep that there and use that eventually. So some of the things that I'll be doing this week, I've written that in the description. So if you did want to join me and you'd wanted to do these things at the same time as I'm doing them, there's a list there. I'm going to be doing a tin. So let me show you, I've got a spare tin here, like a cookie tin or a biscuit tin. You can use anything like that. We're going to be painting that. doing something to upcycle it, you could grab a, oh, I did have a chair next. So a chair is the other thing on my list. I think I'm going to be repainting, whoop, there you go, repainting this old chair. It's looking quite chippy, and which is kind of what I made it distressed eventually, but I might just change the colour on that. I've got a couple of tea towels here, or you could grab a cushion cover, and we'll be doing that on day 4, doing a stencil project for that. And I've got a bedside table or a little side table, which we'll be doing on the very last day, showing you how I can upcycle one of these, which is what I love to do, is I upcycle furniture. If you've just joined me for the first time, oop, I'm just trying to see your comments here, guys, sorry about that. Oop. Oh dear, I've lost my comments. There you are. Okay, yes, Cheryl said you maybe could use cardstock. So she's talking about for inside the picture frame. You can use cardstock, paint a picture, get the kids to paint a picture. Wouldn't that be a fun idea? And kids can paint these picture frames. That's super easy. All right, the next thing you're going to need to do to prepare your frame, because a lot of these frames have quite glossy finishes on them. They're quite a thick, varnished kind of a finish. So what you want to do is get a piece of sandpaper, or I use my trusty sanding gloves, which you can get here in Australia. They're on my online shop, Sandy Hands Sanding Gloves. Just pop it on. It has changeable grits here. So I'm going to be using that, and what you want to do is just scuff. We're just scuffing, so you don't have to remove every little piece of varnish off your wood to get it raw again. Well, this one is very slick surface. You don't need it back to raw wood to paint. All you're trying to do is create a tooth on the surface for the paint to grip onto, if that makes sense. Hi Ellen, thanks so much for watching from Washington State. Who's got the kids home with them today? Like I said before, it's such an easy project, this one. Grab a frame from around the house somewhere that you want to paint up. And easy one for the kids to help you with. Sanding it just like so. There's so many great DIY tutorials out there at the moment that you can watch and find fun things to do for while you might be in isolation. Got plenty of YouTube videos on my YouTube channel and right here on my Facebook page. There we go. So that took like not even 60 seconds, I don't think, to just sand that back. You can dust off and even clean the sandpaper grits on your sanding gloves, or you can just use a little scrap of sandpaper. So what I want to do now is just make sure that that is dust free. So you could use a wet cloth. This one's just a dry one, but it's one of those microfiber cloths which tends to grab onto the dust really well. So we're just going to clean that. Hey Lynn from Melbourne. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Love to see my Aussie friends here. And just a reminder to my Australian followers and furniture painters, DIYers, crafters, that I do ship all of the fusion mineral paint, Miss Mustard Seeds milk paint, all the furniture painting supplies from my website, and it'll go from my door to yours, ship Australia-wide, and it's free shipping over $150. So there you go, take advantage of that. Here we go, I'll just pop this down a little bit lower. So what I want to do now is that is completely all ready for painting. So all you have to do, sand and scuff back the edges. See how I haven't removed all the varnish. You don't need to. You're just scuffing the surface to create a bit of a grip or a tooth for the paint to grip onto. So what I'm going to use today is one of Fusion Mineral Paint's brand new colours. It's called French Eggshell. It's like a bit of a duck egg kind of colour actually. It's really, really pretty. Hi Christine, another one from Australia, from Perth. Lovely to have you join us. So that is the colour French Eggshell. It's beautiful. So I'm going to be using my Klingon R12. It's a little round brush, which is perfect. See how it's got some tinted stained yellow on the end? That must have been the last colour I used. It is clean. I'm using my Klingon brush. It's a perfect size for these little sample pots. So the tester pots actually are a great idea for using for picture frames. You can do a bunch of different colours, or the larger pots are also available if you're going to do larger furniture pieces. So I just want to get a little bit on the brush. Don't need a whole lot. And we're just going to be painting around the frame. The round brushes are actually really good for getting into the crevices and the grooves of our picture frame. And this colour, it covers really well. Most times with furniture paint, you want to give at least a couple of coats to make sure that you've covered every area. So I'm trying to do this while looking at the screen for you, just make sure I'm getting every little piece, covering it well. What other things have you guys? Yes, Susan's from Brisbane. Hooray, got a Brizzy person. Now, Susan, my Brisbane friends, please let your Brisbane friends know, because normally you would be able to pick this paint up from the Camp Hill Antique Centre, where I have a little booth there. But I'm letting my Brisbane friends know, please use the code FREESHIPBRIZ, and you can have free shipping for any of my Brisbane people. Please let your friends know. FREESHIPBRIZ. I should just write that in the comments right now. So for my Brisbane people who'd normally pick it up from Camp Hill Antique Centre, use code FREESHIPBRIZ when you're ordering from my website, and I'll give you free shipping to anywhere in the Brisbane area. Well, that's Brisbane and surrounds, so go ahead and use that for anywhere for Brisbane. I just popped that in the comments. Oops, I did it with my own. See, it's Sharon Hankins there. Okay, so that's that one in the comments for my Brisbane friends. Free ship, Briz. All right, this has got great coverage, as you can see. This is French eggshell, and it's a gorgeous duck egg blue colour. Really brand new colour from Fusion, and it's a really popular one. And I do have several in stock for my Aussie friends. I want to hear what you guys have been. Are you a furniture painter? Are you a crafter? Are you a DIYer? Are you lining up some projects to do while you're in self-isolation, or if your city's in lockdown? Let me know. How are you going in your part of the world? Our city hasn't locked down completely. They've shut down several, things like events and non-essential services. But I know there are some cities out there who are completely shutting down. So we want to keep you occupied, give you some fun things to do while you're staying safe inside. It's a gorgeous colour, isn't it? Yeah, really pretty. Now, here's the trick, guys, is doing this last frame, because I want to hold it up. So I think I'm going to do the edge first, which I have to hold it up for. And then I can place it on the ground without getting paint all over my fingers. Not on the ground, on the table. Without getting paint all over the place. And get in the side there. Now, that is a pretty fun idea for that frame. It's a gorgeous colour, and then you've changed the whole look of your frame, and you can even paint a little something in the middle, stencil it using that same colour. Like I said before, you could use an old map or an atlas page or a vintage book page with lots of words on it. I've used old dictionary pages before. Paint a little something or stencil a little something in the middle, or even use your printer and print out some lovely words that would go in the middle. Now, as that dries, you will see the paint becoming a little bit more uneven. Oh yeah, there's people, I'm just going to grab a plastic bag. There's people commenting on some things that they've got lined up, projects they've got lined up for. Christine says, you're a crafter and complete lockdown till April 30. Wow, yeah. So you guys have to stay inside. Lisa's asking, is it a light blue or a light grey? It's actually, I would call it a light blue, like a duck egg blue. So it's got those greenish kind of tones to it as well. Lawanda has some craft lined up by the sounds of it. Stencils from Essential Stencil, yep. If anyone wants stencils, go to essentialstencil.com and use my code IRestoreStuff and you'll get 10% off. They ship from the USA to Australia as well. So, okay guys, I'm going to show you how to make a chalkboard really quickly, just using some coal black, flat black fusion mineral paint. So that's what we're going to do for the inside of the frame, and we can either ditch the glass or use it for another purpose. I haven't really thought of another purpose for the inside of glass, inside of frames, the glass that you use from that. So if anyone does have a good idea, let me know. So all we're doing is using coal black, which is a really true black. You could use some other, traditional chalkboard colour too. You could mix up some different colours to make a fun green, like one of those vintage chalkboard green colours. Now I can tell you already, because we're painting on white, this black is going to need a few coats, but you'll get the idea. Let me just give you some tips for painting as well. To save you getting drips all off the edge here, I start about here and then go off that edge. So don't start off the edge. You want to start just before that edge, but go off the next edge, if that makes sense. Then you won't get all the drips collecting at the end. And make sure you smooth out any ridges as you go. Here's my painting tips for free. Workshop with Sharon. I will be having some online workshops actually in the coming future, because I've had to cancel my in-person workshops. So I'll make those available as they come. Now look at that. See, that's beading right here? There's something on the surface there, like an oil or something, that the paint, well, now it's not, it's making a liar out of me. There we go. Just in here, it's kind of beading, if you can see that. So there's some kind of oily substance on the surface that's making that, sorry about the shining sun on there. It's making the paint, it's making, the surface is resisting the paint. Oh, there's a better example of it. But the more I go over it, actually, the more it just covers it up. So, I probably should have cleaned this surface. Probably should have cleaned this surface and scuffed it a bit before I went on. I was thinking because it was like a paper, but it's a glossy paper, so it probably would have been better to do that. Now it's a bit tricky to show you this while I'm trying to look at the frame and look at the phone to see if I'm placing it in the right place in the shot. Okay, smoothing off any ridges there. And what we need to do is, whoops, there's got a bit of a shine on it. That's going to have to be gone over a few times, but there you go. You've just made a simple chalkboard. Too easy. And then the last thing I just wanted to show you, because that obviously has to dry and I've got to do a couple more coats. Stephanie says, I know a virtual meeting company for your online workshops. And I think she's referring to my husband's newly formed business, which he had to do because he's in events, and so all events Australia-wide got cancelled. Anything over 500, then it reduced to 100, like you just can't even do anything anymore. So he had to do a quick pivot in his business and take events online, which he'd already been preparing for the year before. He'd been wanting to do these online conferences, and so now all of a sudden, all of the conferences that have had to cancel, he's been able to say, well, have you thought about doing virtual events? And so he has the business virtualevents.com.au here in Australia for virtual events. So it was like this huge blessing because we were able to pivot that. So now he's having all these meetings about people taking their conferences online. So yes, but I will be doing some kind of workshops that I can make available online, which will be fun. I just wanted to show you one last trick. So this one's already previously painted. I've got a chalkboard look here, and I could take the frame out, but what I want to do is just show you a little bit of metallic. So this is champagne. It's a metallic by Fusion Mineral Paint. That's the colour there. It's a beautiful champagne colour. I want to show you how you can just bling up your frame by using a simple technique that we'll use just on the frame. Let me just move my chalkboard. I might pop that. I was going to pop it underneath, but it's still not quite drying all of the things. that over here. So tomorrow I'll be working on, what was the second thing on my list? I think tins. So grab a tin from somewhere around the house. Some kind of biscuit tin, cookie jar tin, whatever. All of the things. We're going to be having some fun this week. If you've just joined me, yes, virtual events. Yes, we're going to be having some fun this week doing 5 lives, 5 things around the house that you can do or upcycle to just stay inside. So you can do the upcycling. Now I've just wet the edge of my cloth here. This is just a old cloth that I'm going to be using for this technique. And this is a painted frame. I've used it in Miss Mustard Seed's milk paint in the colour Bergère. It probably even has some finish on it. But what I want to do is just allow that metallic to sit within the little ridges, what do you call that? The details of the frame, and then I'm going to be wiping it off the edges. So to do that, I'm going to use this Stolmeester pointed brush, but you could use any round brush. You could even use any paintbrush. It really doesn't matter. And I am going to be just dipping it in and then wiping it, painting it on, then wiping it off. So you could use this as a glaze. Now we do have some lovely glazes that you can use the metallic with. It is a really pretty blue. But what I'm going to do is just show you how to use this straight, and we're going to wipe off with a wet cloth. So just putting the paint, sorry. This one's called Champagne. It's a gorgeous colour. I don't know if you can see the shimmer with that, but yeah, it's a gorgeous champagne colour. Put a little bit more on my brush because I don't feel like that was quite enough. And so we're making that go all over. And I'm trying not to get it on the chalkboard because I was a little bit lazy, wanted to save time and didn't take the chalkboard out. So I'm trying to get it in these grooves in here without getting it on the chalkboard. But do as I say, not as I do, and remove your chalkboard first. It will be a lot easier. And see, I've got some on there already. All right, so you can see the difference right there, that you can just use this type of thing to bling up your picture frame. So what I'm going to do is remove it from the high points so that you still see the lovely blue using a wet cloth. It's just a lint-free cloth. And you'll still see the champagne metallic colour. Once that dries, you'll still see it in the crevices and in the grooves of that there. So just have a look at the corner right there of the picture frame, and you can see the gorgeous metallic shimmering here. And I have wiped a bit off the high points, but it's staying in the low valley areas of that. And of course I got some on the chalkboard, so please move your chalkboards. Remove your boards before you paint this. And this is the section that I haven't done yet, okay? So you can see the champagne over any colour is just going to give you a lovely, gorgeous look. So you can get that on my website if you're in Australia. Let me just do another little section here so you can see how I did that again. Just being really careful not to get it on the board, or, like I said, just remove the board. Champagne is this colour. There's a whole lot of beautiful metallic colours. Champagne gold, there's copper, bronze, a vintage gold, which is a gorgeous colour as well. This is in the Fusion Mineral Paint range. Okay, just trying to see what I can show you there. It's hard to watch and look at the camera at the same time. Okay, I'm just going to wipe off with my wet cloth, and that's going to remove the metallic paint just from those high point areas. Just have to sit it down so you can see. But it's going to leave it in the valleys. So we've got the mountains and the valleys. Mountains being the high points on the frame, and the valleys being those little crevices. So you can see that there. Isn't that gorgeous? So that's that part already done, but these are the parts that's just the plain blue. So this is a simple way that you can bling up your frames at home. Give them a little bit of a shimmer. Who knows, we all need a little shimmer these days. So there's the difference there. I hope you can see that. Let me pop that up again. There you go. So these are the sides that I haven't shimmered. Oops, going backwards here. This is the sides that I haven't done. This is the sides that I've done with the metallic. So isn't that a gorgeous difference that it makes. It just really makes that pop, and you can see that shining. Woohoo! So there's a couple of ideas with picture frames that you can do. Let me just show you that. If you've just joined us, I'll just do a quick recap. We've taken an ordinary frame, and of course you can do the plain metallic colours, just solid like this copper. That's gorgeous, making a chalkboard. We've taken an ordinary picture frame that you might have around the house. Just a little recap here for those of you who have just joined. Take an ordinary picture frame from around the house, and we took out the glass, we removed the picture, and just painted it. Now this one is in Fusion Mineral Paints French Eggshell, which is a gorgeous brand new colour. I'm going to do another coat of that once that dries. It's semi-dried already, so the Fusion Mineral Paint, most furniture paints dry pretty quickly. So there's that, and then I've taken the inside of it, and I'm trying to grab this without getting wet paint over me. It is starting to dry, you can see that, and it does need another coat, so that's coal black, creating a chalkboard for you to use for the kids or even yourself, and that's kind of what it will look like. But then you can also, like I showed you, use a metallic to bling that up, or just leave it plain. So these are the plain sides, and this is the metallic side. So there you go, guys. If you're in Australia, don't forget, $150 worth of product will get you free shipping of any of my Fusion Mineral Paint, Miss Mustard Seeds Milk Paint, Klingon brushes, all of the things. And also, if you're in Brisbane, use the code FREESHIPBRIS, because those people who normally would pick it up from the Camp Hill Antique Centre from me, I really am sorry, but they have closed. So those Brisbane people can use that code and you'll get free shipping. And guys, I'll be back again tomorrow. So our second thing, I want you to go grab any kind of tin around the house, a cookie tin or something. I'll be showing you some kind of thing that you can do to that, paint it, or I just ad lib as I go sometimes, so you never know what I'll come out with. But if you want to do that, grab a tin, and the list is at the top of the live description right here of the things that I'll be doing 5 days with 5 things in your house that you can upcycle this week. Cheryl says, I'm going to do my gallery wall in a couple of complementary colours. Perfect idea. I love it. See, people have gallery walls, and you could just upcycle those picture frames on your gallery walls and change up the whole look of your gallery wall. What a fun thing to do while you're in isolation, guys. I hope you've been entertained and that's given you something else to do. Thank you, Dawn. So tomorrow, grab your tin cans, come and join me for another live, and I will see you then. See ya.